To begin, you're going to safely raise and support the vehicle, along with remove the front undertray. Need additional assistance with those tasks, please follow the link provided at the end of this video. Before you begin, and especially if you live in a four-season climate, you may want to spray some penetrating oil in the two rotor locating screws and loosen them while you have the brakes on the vehicle. Lift up on the clip on the wheel speed sensor and brake pad wear sensor, green arrow, and pull each connection out from the harness. If your brakes are fine, you do not need to remove them from the caliper. Just use a brake pad spreader and compress the pads back far enough into the pistons so they clear the rotor. While you are doing this, you will be pushing brake fluid back up into the system. Open the access port to the brake fluid reservoir and make sure there is room for it. Be prepared to remove a little with a very clean fluid pump if needed. If you are pushing them back far enough that this is necessary, you really should be considering changing your pad and rotors. Use a 10mm socket and remove the bolt that holds the bracket for where the flexible brake line meets the hard line, green arrow. Use a 10mm Allen and remove the two caliper retaining bolts, blue arrows. We have removed the pads as we are installing new pads and rotors. If you're going that route, please follow the link provided at the end of this video for additional assistance. The caliper bolts are single-use only and must be replaced. Slide the caliper off the rotor and hang it out of the way with a cord or hanger. Never let the caliper hang by the brake line. Use a Phillips head screwdriver and remove the two locating screws. The screw strip, a left-handed drill bit and/or easy out will make quick work of removing it. Use care as once these screws are out, nothing but corrosion is holding the rotor to the flange. Remove the rotor. If you're reusing it, do not hit any part of the disc on the rotor. Light tapping on the bell should suffice. Use an 18mm wrench and remove the nut on the top of the ball joint, red arrow. The ball joint spins. While attempting this, you can put some pressure on the lower portion of the ball joint to stop it from spinning. Use care as to not lift the vehicle off of the jack stands. You can also insert a T30 torque into the top of the ball joint to stop it from spinning, blue arrow. Use a ball joint spreader and separate the ball joint from the wheel carrier. Loosen but do not remove the 16mm nut on the drop link where it secures the strut to the wheel carrier, red arrow. Use a 10mm socket and remove the speed and brake pad sensor connection from the wheel carrier. Use an 18mm wrench and remove the nut on the top of the ball joint, red arrow. The ball joint spins. While attempting this, you can put some pressure on the lower portion of the ball joint to stop it from spinning. Use care so as to not lift the vehicle off the jack stands. With the nut off, use a ball joint separator and separate the coffin arm from the wheel carrier. Support the wheel carrier with a jack. Use a 16mm and 18mm wrench and loosen the bolt, blue arrow, and the nut, red arrow, connecting the control arm to the subframe. Lower the jack, and this will allow the lower control arm to swing down and away from the wheel carrier and clear the ball joint. Now, while holding the carrier, remove the drop link bolt, blue arrow, and slide the drop link out. The wheel carrier is now free, so use care. You can now slip the carrier off of the strut. Congratulations, you have now removed the wheel carrier without disturbing the alignment. Installation is the reverse of removal. Torque the lower control arm ball joint to wheel carrier to 75 Newton meters or 56 foot-pounds. Torque the drop link mount to 75 Newton meters or 56 foot-pounds. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and check out another video in this series.